Aloha, everyone. This is Chesapeake Movie Thoughts. Today we're talking Godzilla. Went out to the movies and saw the new release, Godzilla King of the Monsters. And I'll start off by saying, I guess I'm what you would call a casual Godzilla fan. I enjoy Godzilla movies when I see them. I haven't seen all of them. The series has been around since the late 50s, I believe. So, yeah, there's been a ton of Godzilla movies. I've seen some of them, and I tend to enjoy them when I do see them. I haven't seen all of them. This is a follow-up to the 2014 Godzilla movie. This is an American-made Godzilla movie. The 2014, this one, and one in 1998 are the only ones made by American film companies. The rest are made by Toho in Japan, and they're all Japanese. That's where the Godzilla, the dubbing and all that cliche about Godzilla movies all having bad dubbing and all of that is because almost all of them have been Japanese imports. So I rather enjoyed the 1998 Godzilla movie, although I am one of the few that do. Most people think it's awful. I think it's good, though I understand that it's not really a Godzilla movie. It does not really have enough of the spirit of Godzilla to really be a Godzilla movie. It is kind of like a more generic big monster movie from the 50s made in a 90s style. And I think that's fun and enjoyable, but yeah, not exactly a Godzilla movie. Though it is called Godzilla, they're just using the name. Now, in 2014, when they made that Godzilla movie, the second time it's an American Godzilla movie made, this movie was better received, but it did have certain criticisms that were common to it. Some of those criticisms did affect my enjoyment of the film. I really enjoy the new look for Godzilla. The design of Godzilla for this version, I think, is my favorite design for Godzilla so far. And it's the design for the new movie that I just saw as well. Same design. But the 2014 movie, it focused a lot on the human characters. We don't even see Godzilla until like halfway through. When we do get Godzilla and we get the monsters and we get them fighting, they keep cutting away as soon as they start fighting, and then just to humans watching it on the news. Rather than showing us exactly what happened, we're seeing humans reacting to it, like the humans are the focus of the story. At the end, they finally do give us some of the monster action, but a lot of the movie is shot so dark. Not in terms of tone, just the visual, the lighting is just so dark that most of it looks like a black screen, and it's very hard to follow what's going on. So those criticisms affected my enjoyment of the movie. I think they're pretty much fixed for Godzilla King of the Monsters. There are still human characters, and we do see a lot of human characters. Now when there's monster fights, it's kind of intercut. It goes back and forth between the humans and the monsters. What we did see of the humans is basically, I think it's more forwarding the story of the monsters. You need human characters in something like this, even though you really don't care about the human characters. You want to know the story of these monsters, or Titans, as they're calling them in this movie. So you want to know the story of the Titans, but the Titans are not intelligent beings. They don't speak. They don't tell their own stories. So in a movie like Godzilla King of the Monsters, it's good to have human characters who can discover the story of these monsters, and you'll discover it as the human characters are doing it. And that is what the human characters, for the most part, are used for here. There is a little bit of the politics of the world post Godzilla's first appearance showing up, so there's a little bit of human story in that. not a lot. And then there's a little bit of this family dynamic going on about the main characters are this family that's a bit the father's a bit estranged from the others, and that plays into it. Not to an excess. It was much less so than in the last movie, and it didn't really distract me. So I was enjoying um, the fact that the humans were mainly there to discover the story of the monsters, and through them we would discover their story. And then a lot of monster fighting. The monster fights, while they're still, a lot of them are like they're at night or during a storm, so it's still against a dark color palette, but you can see everything that's going on. It's not hard to follow the action. So while it seems like they still like the style of the um, the monsters against like a dark background, they did fix the problem where you just couldn't see what was going on. Now you can see everything, and it looks pretty awesome. And I did have a lot of fun with that. So yeah, so I think it fixes the problems. I mean, Godzilla shows up much earlier in the movie. So and this time Godzilla is fighting actual established uh, characters from the Godzilla franchise. There's other monsters that make appearances like Rodan, King Ghidorah, and Mothra. They make their appearances here, and that's a lot more fun than the sort of generic Mutos that we saw in the last movie. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. There was something that got on my nerves. The politics of the situation is that okay? It's now 5 years after Godzilla's the events of the 2014 Godzilla movie. Godzilla has returned to the ocean and hasn't been seen since, and where they're dealing with the well, for one thing, the secret organization called Monarch that's been monitoring these creatures. Their secret is out now. They've been exposed, and the military, through Congress, is making a bid to get control of them because they want the information they've collected on these Titans, because the military wants them dead. The military wants to destroy them. Monarch, their view is some of these Titans, like Godzilla, are benevolent and will need to side with them in order to protect ourselves against the more aggressive, more malevolent Titans. Um, and then we find out later that there is another group out there, a group of extremists, who they think, well, the world should just belong to these Titans anyway. That humans are slowly destroying the planet. So if we release all the Titans we found, and they've found several others since the last movie, so they're like dormant, but they found them. And like if we awaken these Titans, they will, um, rather than the humans destroying the world slowly, they'll destroy most of the world and everything that humans have built in short order, and then the humans that are left will survive and stop, and they won't be destroying the planet anymore. So the human race will survive. It's crazy. It's extremism. It's the idea that the you know the humans are just so evil that you have to unleash horrible evils against them, which is crazy. But it's been a lot of films. It's like like a basic Bond villain plot. The world is messed up, so let's destroy the world. We'll save people like in a Noah's Ark situation, and then they can repopulate the planet. Kind of the same thing going on here. Um, and then there's a twist where there's a character that uh, becomes a part of that extremist group. Um, and the character is, it seems like we're supposed to sympathize at least a little bit with the character, and I'm like, I can't sympathize with anyone that's wants to basically destroy most of the world in the name of saving what's left of it. It's kind of like Thanos thinking, except it's more than half they're talking about. Thanos wanted half the universe destroyed. This one, they want more than half. It's like, whoever manages to survive the Titans. Um, so when they're talking about unleashing death and destruction on that scale in the name of a greater good, I'm sorry, I can't sympathize with that character. But it seemed like the movie wanted us to not side with her, but at least sympathize with her, like she was a sympathetic villain. And I guess that's what they were going for with Thanos in the MCU as well. Why are they doing that? Why are they trying to make us sympathize with these radical extremists? I don't get that. But and it didn't work for me. It just made me feel weird. Um, that was my main complaint in the movie. Um, Other than that, I think the movie was just a lot of fun. I mean, it's like one of those popcorn summer movies. You just go to it, you have fun, you see giant, huge, enormous beasts fighting each other and causing massive amounts of destruction, which is a big spectacle to see. Um, and that's what we like in movies sometimes. Sometimes just a big, dumb monster fighting thing. And I think that's, for the most part, what we got with this movie. So I enjoyed it. It's not life changing, but I think that this film franchise is going in the right direction. I think this is probably going to be my favorite Godzilla film. Again, I'm a casual Godzilla fan. I will admit to having. I find it easier to watch a U.S. made movie than a Japanese movie. I just the filmmaking language of the U.S. is just a lot more easy for me to digest. It's not that I can't watch a Japanese Godzilla movie, of course. I can watch them and enjoy them, but it just like I get it more when it's American made. Um, so, and out of the ones that have been American made, there's only been three of them so far, not counting Kong Skull Island, which is part of the same universe, but it's not Godzilla's not in it. Um, so out of those three Godzilla movies, one I really enjoy, but it's not really a Godzilla movie. It's a Godzilla movie in name only. The other one I had some major problems with. So this one, yeah, it's probably the best American Godzilla movie I've seen, and that's really kind of where my entry point into Godzilla is gonna be the American films. More or less. Yeah, probably. Actually, it probably was because probably that 1998 movie is probably the first Godzilla movie I did see, even though it's Godzilla movie in name only. So I probably only saw like the other Godzilla movies after that I have seen. Um, so yeah, I do recommend you go see this. This is not Marvel. This is not groundbreaking cinema, it is doing what it's supposed to be doing very well. So I will say that, and what it's supposed to be doing is big dumb monster action, and I did enjoy it for that. Okay, guys, like, comment, subscribe, and that's a wrap. Come on, turn off. Technical difficulties here, folks. Bear with me. All right, signing off now.